Lina had lived a simple life filled with early mornings and long evenings. As a single mother, she worked 2 jobs, cleaning homes during the day and helping out at a small bakery in the evening. Her 7-year-old daughter, Emma, was her entire world. Though they didn't have much money, their tiny apartment was always warm with love, laughter, and the smell of toast and tea. One rainy morning, after sending Emma to school, Lina came home to find a plain white envelope slid under her apartment door. Curious, she opened it and read slowly, her eyes widening with every line. It was a letter from a local community center, offering her a chance to apply for a scholarship for single mothers. The scholarship included free evening English classes and the opportunity to work part-time as a teaching assistant at a nearby language school. Lina sat on the edge of her bed, stunned. She had always dreamed of becoming a teacher, but life had pushed that dream far away. With rent to pay and Emma to care for, how could she possibly afford to stop working evenings? That night, over dinner, she shared the letter with Emma, expecting worry or fear. But Emma's eyes lit up. "Mom," she said, her voice small but sure, "you always tell me to follow my dreams. Now it's your turn." Lina smiled through tears, deeply moved by her daughter's courage and wisdom. That night, as rain tapped gently on their window, Lina stared at the letter again. Her heart pounded with fear and hope. Maybe, just maybe, this was more than a letter. It was a second chance. And though she didn't know how, she made a quiet promise to herself she would try. The next few days were full of questions for Lina. She walked through her daily routine with a cloud of thoughts hanging over her head. The scholarship program required her to attend English classes every evening, exactly when she worked at the bakery. If she accepted the opportunity, she would have to quit that job, the very job that paid her rent and bought Emma's schoolbooks and food. The risk seemed too big. One evening, as they ate boiled rice and eggs at their small kitchen table, Lina finally spoke. "Emma, if I take the classes, I won't be able to work at the bakery anymore. Things may get tough for us for a while." Emma stopped chewing, looked at her mother seriously, then reached across the table and held her hand. "But someday, you'll become a teacher, right?" Lina nodded slowly. "Then I'll be okay, Mom," Emma said with a small smile. "I can help around the house, and maybe sometimes we can eat pancakes for dinner. That's fun, right?" Lina laughed softly, tears threatening to fall. That night, she sat alone by the window, staring out at the streetlights glowing in the darkness. Her daughter's words echoed in her heart. She had always told Emma that strength wasn't about never falling. It was about getting back up, again and again. Maybe it was time she listened to her own advice. The very next morning, Lina walked into the bakery and handed in her resignation with trembling hands. Her boss looked surprised but wished her well. That evening, Lina walked into the community center, heart pounding, and signed the scholarship papers. She had no backup plan, just a dream, a little faith, and the love of a child who believed in her more than anything else. Life quickly became more difficult than Lina had imagined. With no income from the bakery, she relied solely on her cleaning jobs during the day, which barely covered rent and groceries. Even so, every evening she walked to the community center, carrying her worn-out notebook and second-hand dictionary, determined not to let the opportunity slip away. Her body ached from scrubbing floors all morning, and her eyes often drooped during grammar lessons, but she refused to give up. At home, Emma tried her best to help. She folded laundry, set the table, and quietly read her storybooks while Lina studied vocabulary by candlelight during power outages. Despite the challenges, hope stayed alive in their small apartment, but one evening, Lina came home devastated. Her first English test had come back with a failing grade, and doubt hit her like a storm. She sat on the floor and cried quietly, her books still in her bag. "Maybe I'm not smart enough," she whispered. Emma, sitting nearby, came over and hugged her tightly. "You always say mistakes help us learn, Mom. You can try again, I know you can do it." Those simple words lit something inside Lina. She wiped her tears and opened her book again. The next morning, she got up an hour earlier to review her lessons before work. She asked her classmates for help and practiced speaking with Emma at home. Slowly, things began to improve. Her grades started rising, and her confidence returned little by little. The struggle hadn't ended, but Lina had chosen to keep fighting. And that choice, fueled by love and determination, made all the difference. For the first time in years, she began to believe that the life she once dreamed of was no longer far away. It was getting closer, one word at a time. A full year passed, filled with early mornings, long nights, and endless lessons. Lina never missed a single class. Each small success became a shared celebration between her and Emma. Whether it was a good test score or simply finishing a difficult homework assignment, Emma made little, well-done cards and left them beside her mother's books. That love kept Lina going even on the hardest days. Finally, the day arrived, graduation. Lina wore a simple borrowed dress and stood proudly among the other scholarship students, holding her certificate. In the front row, Emma clapped the loudest, her eyes shining with pride. The community center's director stepped up to speak. "One student here has shown not just talent, but extraordinary determination and heart," he said. "That student is Lina." The crowd cheered as Lina stepped forward, stunned. Then came another surprise. "We would like to offer you a position as an assistant English teacher at our center." The director continued. "Your journey has inspired many, and we believe you will inspire others." Lina could hardly speak, tears rolling down her cheeks. Emma ran to the stage and hugged her tightly. That moment felt like magic, not just for Lina, but for the little girl who believed in her every step of the way. A dream that once felt impossible had become real. Lina started teaching the next week, standing in front of children and adults who, like her, wanted to learn. She spoke with warmth and patience, remembering her own journey. Every word she taught carried a story of courage. From a tired cleaner with broken dreams to a proud teacher with a future, Lina had proved that with love, belief, and hard work, even the hardest roads can lead to beautiful places.